Hello, welcome to my channel, AH for Truth. I want to talk to you guys today about XRP as a tollgate. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. By the way, all subscribers, I want to say thank you for bringing me close to 9,000 subscribers. By the end of this month, we will hit 9,000. I don't have a doubt about it. We're at 8,939. So there's a few more to go and we'll be there. Also, thank you for 78 channel members, giving $5.11 a month, a small fee. Appreciate you guys. It's for some people, yeah, it's small, others is not, but I do appreciate you for what you do, and I'm hoping that I'll have 100 by the 31st of July, which is just a few days away. So what am I talking about? Before I even go into that, if you're new to crypto, I wrote a book just for you. Crypto Made Easy. It's right in the description. It's for beginners and it will help you, set you on course in your investment journey. So take advantage of it. It's $19.99. And there are courses, as well as coaching that I do. So if you're interested in that, just go into the description, see what is available. There's a 30-minute call, a 1-hour call, and then there's even a group opportunity for those who may want to study in group or learn in groups. Okay, so what am I talking about? I'm talking about XRP as a tollgate. You know, the tollgate mentality came into business with people like Bill Gates. There's always been, tollgate in business. What is a tollgate? A tollgate is something that is placed on a highway so that when vehicles are going through, each one pays a fee for the use of that highway, for the privilege of being able to get, on that highway and get where they're going in time. And so there's a tollgate mentality. When you look at most things today, like, your PDF, many sites, articles, newspaper publications online, everything has become some kind of a tollgate mentality approach. How for you to read an article, you pay a certain amount of money to access it, is behind a paywall. It's all tollgate mentality. Your PDF is subscription. Your movie, what would I say, your video, even what we use to edit, videos like this one. I'm not editing, by the way, but you know what I mean? All of them are now based on this tollgate idea. You want my stuff, you want to use it, pay a certain subscription fee every month, and I'll let you use it. In those days, you could just buy Word or buy PDF or whatever it was, load it on your computer or on a floppy disk, and you're ready to go. Not anymore. Things have changed. So that tollgate mentality, you see it everywhere. You see it in Microsoft. You see it everywhere. And the Turnpike Highway, I think they say it's also Ronald Reagan Highway. I'm not sure about that, but somebody said so to me. So, but when I was reading about it, I've never been there, by the way, but I was just kind of thinking, what's the most valuable tollgate in the world? And the busiest, and what I got was the Florida Turnpike, and I went and I read a little bit more about it. And one of our channel members actually wrote on the post, Carolina Soulshine, and she said about how she grew up there, that the description is so perfect, it helps her to understand what XRP, and that she's going to actually send it out to people that she knows. I don't know, I just felt like I should make a post earlier in the day and then also make a video about this. Look, XRP is going to be the tollgates of all tollgates. It's going to be the most valuable tollgate the world has ever seen. However, you wouldn't even know that it's a tollgate because it'll be working in the background. It's all the world's money coming through all of the super highways. It's Swift. Only that it's a new kind of Swift, because Swift is aged, it is old, it is clunky, it is expensive, and it is not meeting the demand of a world that is hurtling towards a population of 9 billion. You need more houses, more roads, more clothing, more food, more medicine, more air transportation, rail, and all of these things have to be done in record time, because there's now it's like, imagine a long line of people out the door in 7-Eleven waiting to be served by one or two servers or two people at the check. And so it's difficult. There's nothing you can do but wait. And there are things you can't wait for. People cannot wait and be hungry. Children have to be fed. You have to have clothing, schools, all that kinds of stuff. Potable water. All of this creates a backlog. And if payments are not improved, right? If payments are not fast, efficient, and cheap, because you have to look at the cost of money. Money has become extremely expensive. Paying salaries has friction. The friction of money has to be removed. And that is one of the major things that XRP does. Besides it being fast, efficient, cheap, environment friendly, it completely removes that friction and also sets free the nostro-vostro requirements for accounts. This will also help letters of credit as, manufacturers are able to move quickly, particularly in the Asian Tiger region where you have all of those manufacturers conglomerated together. So whatever be the case, XRP is going to be a super highway toll gate where all this money is coming through. All of these payments are coming through. And as they come through, they have to pay a tiny fee. Now, it's not that tiny 0.0002 or 0.00 whatever that is paid. Even Bitcoin itself is tokenized on the XRP ledger. I notice that the Bitcoin miners are a bit quiet now because the reality is dawning on many of them that even and on this channel, I've told you over and over about spend the bits. And many of you went to research it. Those who didn't research it, got angry and walked away. And some came back to say, you were right. Thank you so much for that information. XRP is going to be the king. I told you a while back they will crown Bitcoin as king, but at the end of the day, the crowning is for a reason. To bring people back in, to draw as many people as possible. People who are on a salary of $50,000, they tell them, if you buy Bitcoin, you can be rich. If you buy Bitcoin, it's all, I see it as the biggest mousetrap in history. And I'm not saying that I don't believe in Bitcoin, but I believe it to a certain extent. I believe it within reasonable, when Michael Saylor says if you don't buy Bitcoin at the top, you are leaving money at the table. What kind of advice is that? And there are people who would run to that. I'm just going to grab a seat here and finish this video, So there are people who would believe that and end up putting money into something they can't really afford and that's not going to make them wealthy. We are at the cusp of seeing an explosion. I have used, like building homes, building prefab homes. I've got all this land here, right? Assuming I wanted to build a prefab home over there, I go over there and I put the doors, the windows, it won't look like anything is happening. Only those who know that a building is going to come up over there. But the day we decide to start putting everything together, it'll go up so fast, so quick, in a very short space of time. See, one of the things that have been major on my channel is using basic things that you understand, that you see every day to explain the phenomenon that's about to unravel. Listen to me. XRP is going to be the most valuable toll gate in history, known to humanity. And here is where you have done well for yourself. If you're holding XRP and many other tokens, including Electronium, I talked about Electronium just the other day. It's not an ISO token, but it's going to do a lot of things for bill payments. I'm going to do a video on that. Bill payments, phone payments, and all kinds of things like that. But listen, you are owning a piece of that toll gate. So imagine that you are an owner, a co-owner of the Florida Turnpike. I don't know who owns it. I think it's the government, or maybe they're invested in it and that kind of stuff. I'll go research that. But can you imagine how much? Remember how I used an airport to describe what you are holding? You are holding the land on which the airport is being built or will be built. Every time a plane takes off and lands, you get a little bit of coins in your pocket. This is what's going to happen with XRP. It will be the most valuable toll gate in the history of humanity, but it's a digital toll gate. And it's not the fees that make it wealthy. It is the value of what goes through it. If somebody were to buy the entire highway, the turnpike, and all of that, right? Like I said, I don't know everything about it. Some of you I may even be speaking prophetically. If you were to buy all of it, can you imagine the value? And the more vehicles that go through it and pay toll, the more valuable the asset is. XRP is that asset. It is that toll gate, that toll highway. That the ledger itself is the highway, and XRP is the toll gate. As soon as you go through and it does its job, a fee is paid. But the fee is not what is most important. Why it is important? Because it helps to streamline and bring down the cost significantly of global payments. The big deal is that the value of the asset itself for what it does, the more it moves, the higher its price. The more it moves, the higher its price. And one day it will move $950 trillion a year. At that point, you want to tell me XRP will not be $66,000 to $100,000 a piece? I don't know when that is. I don't know when that time is. Some people are like, oh, we'll all be dead before then. Listen, we're not only doing this for ourselves, we're doing it for future generations. So before we leave this world, we're going to see XRP in the thousands of dollars. I have no doubt in my mind. Well, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, join the channel, be a member. See you in the next one. Bye now.